Hi everyone. So today I wanted to do a behavioral practice question. So yesterday we did a product metrics question. Today I want to focus on a behavioral question. So let us start because in the past interviews, recent interviews that I've given, I found that behavioral section has come at the top or the most priority part of the interview has become recent. And it is taken generally in the initial stage of that, starting from the HR round, then to the product round. In the product round itself, you are asked a behavioral round of questions. So I will take just any example and I can start. So this is for me also the first time I'm starting practicing, and I can say, so let us take this question. So this is, can you provide an example where you took a product from inception to launch? And can you also talk about some of the challenges that you faced while implementing this product? So we have a framework that we can follow. We have to first describe a situation. What was the exact situation? Then what was our responsibility? Then what actions or steps did we take? And what was the final result? So we can follow this framework or we can. So this is a pretty good framework. I would try to follow this since I'm starting or beginning. So an example I would like to share with my from my previous experience. So in my past previous company, I was working on an HRMS product. So I was the product owner for two of the modules of that product, and this was an HRMS product. It is a very large web application product. So we were implementing this into a large customer. It was a government entity based out in a different state. We were so the although we had implemented that particular solution to another of our large customer where I was working and implementing that solution, and we were working on it. But since this was a different customers and different setup, different language, everything was different environment itself. So the challenge I found, because the two modules I was part of, so I will just give a brief overview of HRMS. HRMS, how we have seen in our companies or anywhere we work, it is a basic step from uh, in any entry of an candidate or entry of an employee to an organization to the final exit of an employee. It takes care of the whole space from entry to an exit and after exit also. So the two modules that I was the owner, that I had the responsibility, it was related to uh, leave management. So how employees take leave and how it is managed and through web interface. So I was the owner for that. So starting from the collecting the requirement, what are the different challenges or functions required in this particular module? Although it was set up, we had done everything, but since this is one new customer, so we had to go through all the steps, collecting requirements, sitting with the SMEs. So our challenge. So if I can describe the situation, I'll just write it down. That will be more helpful for me also and for the interviewer also. So I'll just describe the situation. So I have given a brief overview. Now the situation for me was that gathering the functional requirement in a limited time for the two modules. And at this customer, there was another set of challenge. Another set of challenge was that previously they have been working with another, I would say, company or a vendor, where they had got all the requirements collected, all the uh, discovery part, everything was done, and they had a functional document kind of a thing available with them. So they had a functional, document, but it was not implemented. Functional document of the application, functional document of the application was present. So the challenge was how do we merge the current product that we are going to implement and the previous document or the functional document they had. We have to build a synergy and we have to find a common balance and see what has been already been done and what we need to make changes and what is left out. So it was all decided in a phase wise approach. So we had to find out what is common from the functional document and the new product that we were to implement. And it has to everything has to start from scratch, right from prototyping to collecting the requirements, then getting the sign in from the stakeholders from the technical team of the customer and from our set of team architect and development team. So whole process has to take place. So yes, so my task was mainly, I would say, discussing requirement with the SMEs, prototyping, wireframing, having discussion with development team, having discussion, because this was also a continuous exercise, because how we worked uh, at this product was that we were divided into a different pod kind of a structure where each pod contains teams from all the sections, from the technical team, from the functional team, from the design team. Each member was part of a pod. So I was the owner for one of the pod, and each of the pod, the pod owner or the pod leader, was somewhere from the functional team and somewhere from the technical team. Discussion with the development team regarding the requirements. So now we will come to the third section. So this was the, if I can just re-say things. So one of the main challenge for us was that uh, trying to find a common path on the functional document or the previous set of requirements that the customer already has, and matching that or finding a common ground with the product that we had, that we are going to implement, finding a common balance and what is left out, what is there, and what products or what features will be implemented, which sections to be left out. That was one challenge for us. That was the main situation. And my task, as I said, while discussing the requirements, a general responsibility that any product owner or PM product team faces, finding those requirements, getting them sign off, wireframing, sitting with the developer design team, that all the task, a general task. And also, since this was a little different, so main challenge for me became that finding this whole understanding the previous document, understanding the previous set of requirements. And although we had a whole session of walkthroughs where we were sitting with the uh, customers and trying to understand that how this particular feature flows and what is the set of requirements, but it took a lot of discussions. And so this I can write it under the action part. What actions? So there was a lot of walkthrough sessions, walkthrough session with the SMEs, customer, and consumers, or I would say end users and users. And there were also a lot of one-to-one discussion once we had those walkthrough sessions, because walkthrough sessions contains consisted of multiple teams being a part of it, from technical team, design team, DevOps team. Multiple teams were part of it. But once the ownership of that particular two of the module, supposing that leave management, I was the in charge of the leave management. So if that module comes under my ownership, so I had to take care of all the prototyping, wireframing, everything of that. So I had a lot of one-to-one discussion with the SME. Those particular, we were assigned a particular SME for particular module. So I had to do a lot of one-to-one discussion, a continuous, I would say, design walkthrough with them, trying to help them how this particular feature flows and how user flow is happening and what do they have in mind. And I think next section comes as the result. So this lot of, since we were at the location of the customer and directly working with them, so I would say that this took a very less time compared to what if you would not uh, if you would not had been in the near direct contact with the customers or near their location. So one aspect was that we were to, so result was that we finalized, or we can say we can log the requirements for the phase one in record time. So the phase for phase one, we had chosen the design of the whole product was done such that the for the phase one part we had chosen a particular modules which are easy to, or which had a already discussion. We required very less discussion because the requirements were very clear to the clients also, to the customers, to our development team, to functional team. So we were able to complete this in a record time. If I can remember, it would be prior to, before the actual date. And result another, I think, uh, I would count the result of was that since I was the owner for this lead management and another module, the bar management, so seeing the work that I had done with the SMEs, with the design team and the development team, I was asked to handle one more module from the 11 modules that he had asked to say, one more module, because success of the two of the modules that I handle. So if I were to just revise what we have been discussing until now, so the situation in front of me was that we had already a functional set of requirements from previous company, and we were going to implement a new product starting from prototyping, from wireframing to a final launch. So that was the big challenge for us. So it took a lot of one-to-one discussion, whole walkthrough sessions, discussing with longer hour, trying to do various mock-ups, wireframing with the design team. I also did various work based on that document that we had, previous document. I designed then, and the result it became is that I was asked to handle one more modules given the time period in the short time that I completed that task. Okay, so that is, I think, end of this answer. That is how I would like to uh, answer this behavioral question. But I think I would try to be more prepared, because uh, these questions or behavior questions, I need to be prepared with at least two to at least 3 to 4 questions, key experience from my previous experience, that I know end to end, thorough, that what it took, and in that particular framework, that what was the exact situation, what was the exact task that I did, what was the exact actions that I performed, and what was the final result of this. So in the next session, I will try to first I will try to write down whole story, and then we can do a breakdown of that situation and see what are the gaps that we can identify. So that is be all, and looking forward to the next session. Thank you.